All right, so today I wanted to talk about this tweet that I actually made recently. Being this early to get into Bitcoin is such a blessing. And I would add on to that, getting early, starting to invest early and doing anything that's going to pay off in the long run is a blessing, right? When you are young and you do things that are going to pay off in the long term, it's a really big blessing, right? So when you're feeling down, being able to buy Bitcoin this early on, I think it's a massive, massive blessing. We're going to, 10, 20 years from now, we're going to look back and be like, man, I am so happy. I wish I would have got into it earlier, but I still got into it earlier than 99% of people, right? When you start investing seriously in your 20s, when you're in your 40s and 50s, you're going to be super, super happy, compared to the other person that started, when they're 35 or 40. People don't realize just how much of a difference that 5 to 10 years makes, right? Because if you take one person, like if you're investing the same amount of money, right, doing it for 40 years is going to literally double the amount you're going to make, as opposed to if you did it for 30 years, right? That's just how much of a difference it's going to make, let alone 20 years, right? So getting in early to this stuff, it is such a blessing, right? It's such a blessing. And again, there's a lot of noise going around. There's a lot of FUD. There's a lot of garbage going around. But again, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, no one's going to care about whatever garbage we're worried, the debt ceiling and what's going to happen with rates in the next Fed meeting. Like, no one, unless it's like an absolute catastrophe and the rates go down a whole bunch, that's about the only way that people will look back and remember it, right? So, and again, if that happens, then in the long run, almost certainly we'll still be fine, right? So that's what I would say, is that stop worrying about the short-term negative FUD and garbage. And again, especially if you're in your 20s, like I am, it is such a blessing to be into Bitcoin below 100,000. Let alone a million, right? Because it's going to a million, right? It's going to a million. Hell, it might even be going to 10 million in our lifetimes, right? And getting into it at $30,000, $40,000, like, again, that is the opportunity of a lifetime, right? Again, the one thing I would mention, caveat, no one knows what's going to happen, right? No one knows. For all we know, the government wakes up tomorrow and says, we're banning Bitcoin and we're going to throw people in jail, if we catch them with it, right? For all we know, that'll happen. Right? And if I'm being honest, my biggest concern with Bitcoin is not whatever garbage you hear from the average person. My biggest concern is it goes to a million and the government starts persecuting people that got into it early. Oh, you got rich unfairly, or whatever garbage they'll say. That's my biggest fear. Do I think it'll happen? I don't know. Nobody knows. But again, to reiterate my main point, and then I'll leave it there. Getting into investing early, getting into Bitcoin early, it will be the biggest positive thing you can do for yourself over the long run, right? If I'm going to predict myself 20, 30 years from now and think what is going to be the biggest, man, I'm so happy I did that thing, it is getting into Bitcoin, and then after that, it is getting into investing early on, right? So anyway, I'm going to keep it nice and short today. If you liked the video, hit that like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.